Okay, my friends, thank you for joining once again on an episode of The Fool's Journey by the Third Eye of Providence. This is the first part of the two-part series that will go into the Suit of the Cups. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, we already reviewed the Suit of Wands. So we're going to go through and do the Ace of Cups through the Ten of Cups, and in the next episode, you will find the court cards for the cup suit. Cups are also known as chalices in other decks. It just depends on which type of deck you're using. So, let's get into the Complete Book of Tarot, Comprehensive Guide by Anthony Lewis, and see what they have to say. This is saying that, let me see, there we are. It says, you typically find cups on the scene when people gather to share a meal or have a good time. Chalices are goblets traditionally used in Catholic Mass to celebrate the sacrifice of Christ, who gave up his life out of love for humanity. In ordinary life, when people use chalices as goblets for the consumption of wine, a theme that runs through the use of these cups is celebration, socializing, and human interconnectedness. It would be difficult to eat, drink, and be merry if chalices were not available. So that's just an overall theme of what to remember when you see the Suit of the Cups. Now, in the astrology, the Suit of Cups is related to the inner-directed yin group of the water signs. So that would be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. These befit the receptive nature of the chalices of the tarot. To get a sense of the archetypal nature of this tarot symbol, review the following list of keywords for the Suit of Cups, or chalices. Right, so we have, again, these are about celebrations. It's connected to the intuitive yin energy of the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. The list of attributes that we would place on the Suit of Cups would be healing, empathy, sharing, looking inward, intuition, grace, pleasure, merriment, joy, love, compassion, romance, relationships, emotions, good times, nurturing, contentment, matters of the heart, psychic awareness, and emotional intelligence. Beautiful. So, we have the Ace of Cups through the Ten of Cups to review on this episode. I'm just going to give you a quick little rundown, and of course you're always welcome to pause the video if you would like to study the image on the card at all. So let's start with the Ace of Cups. The ace in any suit is always going to represent the beginning. So it might be something that would be considered an offer or a new start. Something that this is a symbolism of an ace always will be the beginning of something. Now, it has to do with the fact that the ace is the numerology of one. So this is always about creation and beginnings and the will, the initial spark of new life. So this particular card says, eat, drink, and be merry as love blossoms. All right, beautiful. When this card appears upright in a reading, you'll notice that there's a hand, or typically there's like a hand holding this cup, almost like it's coming out of the sky, like from the divine. So when the Ace of Cups upright appears in a reading, it's going to suggest that this is a new beginning in your emotional life. You're experiencing a period of joy, contentment, camaraderie, feasting, affection, and creativity. Love and fertility are in the air, literally. It says that it's possible to deepen a current relationship or start a new friendship or love interest. Artists find themselves full of creative ideas when this card appears in a reading, and the nurturing waters of the Ace of Cups represent a fertile time, able to produce offspring of either the body or the mind. Also, moving spiritual experiences and opportunities for compassion will accompany this card. So we see the blossoms. These lotuses are going to represent spirituality. They come from the mud through the emotional waters to bloom in the light of the day. And then you'll have, of course, these overflowing waters, this giant cup. So we have water being the emotional, overflowing from a gigantic cup. So a big new thing. And the cup is also coming out of the sky. So this is like a positive type of unexpected gift energy, if you will. But, however, when we see this card in the reverse, the negative polarity of this, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Look at the picture. There's a cup and everything's spilling out of the cup. So it says the watery Ace of Cups in reverse hints at delays or difficulties in beginning a new love relationship or initiating a creative project. This can result in a sense of dissatisfaction, an instability, or loneliness. And some type of overabundance in the boundlessness of the element of water may be interfering with your ability to focus. Water is a necessary element for life and continued growth, but the myth of Noah and the Great Flood teaches us that an excess of water can act as a destructive force. Interesting. So, we're going to move on to the Two of Cups. Now, two is always about, what, 2, 1, 2, a co-creation type of thing. We have yin, yang, masculine, feminine. It's a very divine card here. The Two of Cups. This is a card that represents soulmates falling in love. Of course, because the numerology of number 2 is all about partnership and duality and balance. Now, let's see. The Two of Cups upright. When this card appears in a reading, it's going to suggest the involvement in a positive relationship with someone. A friendship, a business partnership, or love interest may be forming. You genuinely like the other person and they in turn enjoy your company and want to form a closer bond. Such a relationship is likely to be mutual and beneficial. If you've been having difficulties in a relationship, you will have an opportunity for reconciliation. The healing waters of the cups can bring positive changes to your life and inspire creative expression. The two snakes coiled around the rod of Hermes represent the mingling together of two partners. The winged lion's head refers to the sign of Leo and the 5th astrological house, which has to do with romance, fun, sexual pleasure, pregnancy, and creative activities. Beautiful. When the Two of Cups is in reverse, this is going to imply that you might be having difficulties with a friend or a romantic interest. It may be that the close bond you thought you existed was really a false friendship, or that the other person does not truly have your best interests at heart. There appears to be some sort of lack of commitment to the relationship. If you're unable to resolve the disharmony, it could result in estrangement or the dissolution of this relationship. In terms of romance, it may be that sexual attraction between the partners is lacking. There's no point in continuing to pursue someone if the only response you get is disinterest or unrequited love. A relationship based on sex without love and mutual respect is doomed to fail. Oh, interesting shadow aspect of that card. So let's move on to the Three of Cups. Again, the numerology of 3 is all about creativity. It's triads, it's a joint venture, and it's fertility, because we have conscious co-creation that brings the third energy. So, the Three of Cups is a happy celebration card. When it comes upright in a reading, it depicts 3 friendly individuals in a happy celebration, perhaps a good time for harvest. It's a time of happiness, success, favorable issue, and abundance. Why are the maidens rejoicing? Perhaps they have received good news about a project, a promotion, or recovering from an illness, an engagement, a wedding, or the birth of a child. Their creative juices are flowing, and the harvest has been abundant, and they know how to have a good time. Beautiful. In the reverse, the Three of Cups suggests overindulgence in merriment. Rather than enjoying their good fortune, the people on the card may be selfishly exploiting the situation and getting on each other's nerves. There's a sense of excess or too much of a good thing. Perhaps they are behaving like party animals. If the person inquired about a relationship, then difficulties with a partner or marital strife might be indicated by this card in the reverse. Interesting. Too much of a good time. So moving on to the 4, we know, as we've discussed in other episodes, that the numerology of 4 is all about structure, stability, foundations, logic, and order. So apply that to the Suit of Cups when we have emotions, we have feelings, we have merriment and celebration. That means the 4 of Cups speaks of discontent, weariness, and a missed opportunity. That's because in the upright, the 4 of Cups suggests that you're going through a period of discontentment, stagnation, or dissatisfaction. The pleasures of life just don't seem to perk you up. You may feel unfulfilled, as if something essential were missing from your life. Perhaps you are suffering from depression or wallowing in self-pity. You feel stuck in a rut as you focus on the glass being half empty. You need to confront your imaginary vexations and find a way to motivate yourself to move forward. Are you focusing on the cloud rather than its silver lining? Take advantage of the gifts and opportunities that surround you. This card's association with the moon suggests that you may need to wait until a proper moment to achieve your goal. The phases of the moon are a reminder that to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So you can see in this card, there's a gentleman who's he's not even paying attention to this cup that's coming out of thin air. There are these pine cones above him, and these pine cones are definitely representative of intuition. So he's very reflective on what he has, and he's not satisfied with this, and he's totally unaware of this other thing coming out of the sky. When this card is in the reverse, what we're going to see here is about fresh new possibilities entering the life. These may take the form of new acquaintances, new learnings, or the setting of new goals for yourself. The inverted 4 of Cups may also herald the experience of premonitions and hunches. So keep open to gut feelings and signs from the universe that may signal new paths to fulfillment. Oh, I see. So we see this intuitive pine cone here, and we see the divine handing out of the cup. When it's in the reverse, it sort of looks like the cup is pouring out the intuitive. So this in the reverse would actually be kind of a better position, a more positive aspect of this card than when it is in the upright. Interesting. Oh, that would make sense because like we talked about, the 4 in numerology is all about stability, structure, and foundation. And when you apply that to celebrations and you're applying it to emotions, it's sort of like a wet blanket energy. All right, let's go on to the 5 of Cups. So, the 5 of Cups. This card says every cloud has a silver lining. We see the progression here, right? Overindulgence, happiness, then not being satisfied, and then we have this, right? Look at the spilled cups in the 5 of Cups. So, the numerology of 5, of course, we've talked about before, is all about disruption. It's about instability and tension. It's about change in a dramatic way. Now, the upright meaning of this card says it depicts a scene of emotional disappointment. You're likely to have suffered a loss and to be focusing on the 3 overturned cups that have spilled their contents, rather than on the 2 full cups that remain standing. Even though you feel dejected because of a separation or a breakup, some hope of fulfillment remains. Sometimes your emotional fulfillment will need to come from within rather than from something else. Are you crying over spilt milk? Traditionally, this card also stands for a gift or an inheritance, but one that does not live up to your hopes and dreams. Though it may sound trite, remember that every dark cloud has a silver lining. This man is not happy at all. Alright, so in the reverse, what would we think this means? Suggests you need to adopt a different perspective in order to find the good in the situation. Even though you have suffered a loss, hope remains if you will look for it. The two of the cups remaining have not spilled their contents. So you may be able to salvage a relationship you thought was lost, or perhaps a new relationship will enter your life and dispel these feelings of emptiness. A gift or inheritance may be better than you anticipated, and news of someone's return may reach you. Remember the words of Alexander Pope: "Hope springs eternal in the human breast." Lovely energy. 5 cups in reverse. It says, have faith. Look for the silver lining. Find the purpose behind everything. Now, moving into the 6 of Cups. The 6 of Cups energy is pretty different because, like we've talked about in the past, the numerology of 6 is representative of harmony, sharing, compassion, and communication. So, this says remembrance of things past. The 6 of Cups upright in a reading. This is a nostalgic card that refers to pleasant memories and enjoyable relationships returning from the past. It can herald a friendly reunion or the revival of a former friendship or love interest. You may find yourself exchanging gifts or sharing sexual pleasures with someone you care about. This is a card of joy, harmony, and satisfaction. Traditionally, it is a marker of things past. Perhaps a high school sweetheart energy. Now, in the reverse, this is about things yet to come. So the 6 of Cups can refer to things that will happen shortly or at some unspecified time in the future. This card can also indicate a desire to take a refuge in pleasant memories of the past pleasures rather than facing your current situations. Nostalgia can become a form of escapism. For some reason, you may be having difficulty enjoying and experiencing satisfaction in your life at this time. Moving on to the 7 of Cups. So, the 7 of Cups has a lot of symbolism in it, and each deck is going to be a little bit different. But what you need to know, of course, the numerology of 7 is all about assessment, and it's about reevaluation, right? Seeking an advantage. The 7 of Cups talks about reflections in the pool of contemplation. Look at the wizard here. He's got 7 cups, and he's got all these different magical elements in each of them. So when the 7 of Cups appears upright in a reading, it highlights the importance of sentiments and images that come to mind during moments of reflection or contemplation. Such imaginings may reveal our wildest desires, but they may not be grounded in reality. Many possibilities seem available, making it difficult to decide which path to follow. At some point, we must stop daydreaming and soberly assess our options and make the hard choices. Otherwise, we risk wandering in a state of confusion or unreality, like the fictional character Walter Mitty. Right, so he's got all these magical options here available to him, and he's having a hard time picking one. So, in the reverse, the Seven of Cups is going to suggest that you are in the process of resolving the confusion of the upright and choosing realistically from among these many possibilities. The period of daydreaming is over. Now's the time to plan your course of action with determination and take into account what you genuinely want to achieve. An opportunity may arise, allowing you to deal with problems related to the misuse of drugs or alcohol. Wow, very interesting for that Seven of Cups in reverse. Interesting energy. So let's get into the Eight of Cups in reverse. It says this is a decline of matter. Wow. Well, not in reverse, just generally. So from the 7 to the 8, right? All right. In the numerology of 8, this is, of course, about action, power, movement, cycles. So when this card comes upright, it's going to indicate that you have surveyed your current situation and it no longer feels emotionally satisfying. Because of this dissatisfaction with the circumstances, you have decided to move on in search of greener pastures, perhaps a project or a relationship that has not lived up to expectations is being left behind. You may be feeling stuck in the mud and wanting to look for fulfillment elsewhere. The bottom line is that you are seeking greater joy and happiness because it does not appear to be available in your present circumstances. It's important to determine whether your discontentment is based on a valid assessment of your situation or whether you are acting out of some illusory notion, for instance, that blondes have more fun or that the grass is greener on the other side. Ouch. This is like, this card is reading you, huh? When this comes up right. What I wanted to point out too is that the Four of Cups, again, talks about discontentment, right? And then we have the double 4 energy with the 8. Something, if you're really want to stick with the numerology to help you understand these cards better and faster, the 4 of Cups, discontentment. The 8 of Cups is moving past that discontentment. When it's in the reverse, though, this is going to caution you to be thoughtful about a temptation to abandon your current circumstances in search for greener pastures. You may be feeling dissatisfied with some aspect of your life, but now might not be the optimal time to walk away from difficulties. It might actually be wiser to try to resolve the problems in your current situation. If you run away from your troubles, you might just take them with you because they are of your own making. The grass may not be greener on the other side, so ponder these words. We are often unaware of the gradual decline and the erosion in our own lives, but not unaware of the gnawing feelings it brings. Wow. All right, you guys. Well, that 8 of Cups energy in the upright or the reverse, still not the best card to get in a reading. But certainly, it serves a purpose, and some people need to see that and have that lesson about walking away from what no longer serves them. So, finally, we are at the 9 of Cups. And as you know from previous episodes, the energy of the numerology behind 9 is the final stage of the single digits. So it's about culminations, attainment, and fruition. Now, when the 9 of Cups appears upright in a reading, it's going to indicate a period of pleasures, creativity, and enjoyment. Wishes are fulfilled and dreams do come true. This is a time of material happiness and success in mundane matters. You feel particularly creative and sociable at this time. Many blessings are a cause for celebration and sharing your happiness with others. Beautiful. He looks very jolly. Looked kind of a little drunk to me. So in the reverse, the 9 of Cups suggests excessive focus on material pleasures and conspicuous consumerism. Superficial behavior makes you come across as smug and complacent. Success can be a two-edged sword. It can grant you all your wishes, but it can also turn you into a grown-up version of an egocentric, spoiled child. Nine of Cups in reverse, kind of not a great energy, but Nine of Cups upright, yes, definitely share the wealth. So, we finally are at the Ten of Cups. What a gorgeous and beautiful card. Look at the rainbow. Right? Of course, we talk about the symbolism of the number 10. It's about fullness and completion and readiness to begin a new cycle. Right? We're going out of the single digits into the doubles. So this Ten of Cups is all about the happiness in the heart. When it's upright in a reading, this finds you surrounded by loving relationships, whether they be good friends or supportive family members. It's a time of fulfillment and achieving your heart's desires. Home is where the heart is, and you have arrived where you want to be. Since one of the meanings of cups is the power to heal, this 10 may represent a final stage of healing and to be released from suffering. As pleasant as the scene on this card may appear, it's important to remember that all good things must eventually come to an end, so enjoy your blessings, but don't forget to reflect on the impermanence of life. Okay, now when the Ten of Cups is in reverse, it's going to highlight family problems, as you'll see with the children here. It talks about domestic disruptions and a sense of sadness in someone's home. The Ten of Cups in reverse also represents a certain amount of strife or tension in the person's relationships. It says you may be experiencing a lack of sense of fulfillment or failure to achieve your heart's desires, or else you have gotten what you want but you find it lacking. As in, there's no pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. Wow. Okay, guys. Well, that's what the book has for the Suit of Cups. And we kind of went into the symbolism a little bit. We focused on what the meaning of the cups are. So if there are any specific questions that you have regarding any specific card in this suit, drop a comment below so that I can give you a response and we can clarify anything that might not have been addressed in this episode of The Fool's Journey. Thank you guys again for the support and for hitting the like button, for saving this video into your playlist, and for hitting the subscribe. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to get into the court cards of the Cup suit.